Hello everyone and welcome to the third round of the SMS-R Championship supported by ESL. As I say, essentially the multi-class, as I've said in previous videos. And you can see here just how bad the traffic is on this first lap. Thought I'd just show you this little bit. So obviously we're just trying to juggle selling PCars behind, the GT cars, trying to find a bit of space here. All the time, tyre temperatures are cooling down, braking temperatures are cooling down. You just see an LMP car there. So what I'm going to do here is try and pull over to the left. I see the LMP car now is not going, he's holding back. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll go for it. F-mate decides he wants to go for it as well. So just coming into the chicane. Now, quitting the track is a real problem here. And as you see there, I just cut it too much. No idea what I did there, why I did that. So I ruined my potential fast lap. So I've just merged it on a little bit further. And this is actually going to be my qualifying lap. Now, I was debating whether to show this or not. But figured, it's always nice to show the fastest lap. And this is the fastest lap I do in the entire event. I'll explain a little bit more a bit later. But even so, I'm going to go for my fast lap. So this isn't going to be the fastest because we're actually going into evening at this point. Obviously the earlier lap would have been faster because it's high temperatures, things like that. But we continue on nonetheless, and as we come through the Dunlop curves, comes this left-hander. This left-hander pretty tricky. You're going to get it turned in fairly tight, and you've got to have a nice run at this right-hander because if you go too tight, it'll shoot you really far out. Tetra Rouge, a bit easier than Gran Turismo I find here. You can just nail it lovely through there, as you can see there, no cut penalty. Nailed it perfectly, don't even have to brake for that. And then onto the Mulsanne straight we go. So F-mate is just in front of us, he's our main target at the moment, as he is leading the championship. And now it's just a nice long run down to the first chicane. You see that, look? Hand off the wheel, I can just chill a little bit. Now I'm in the SLS GT3 car, which is unusual, I don't really use this very often, but it's got good top speed. It's going into the braking zone there as we approach the chicane. So you want to go to the right and then the left. You've got to be careful on the exit here, you can't run over too much, any more than that really, and you're going to get a penalty. So we continue on that. I know at this point that I can't get my ultimate fast lap, which is actually my potential's in the 49s, but my fastest lap I've done is a 50.2, I think, 50.2 or 50.4. But obviously there's lots of time to gain on this track. Now 120.8 first sector is pretty good. You can get lower than that. You can get down in the 120.4s, 120.3s. So I know I'm a bit down on my time. Here you want to use all the inside there on the right hand side. You can run a bit more wider this time on that part of the on the second chicane. But yeah, you want to turn in tightly. The curb will just grab you around a little bit. Get a bit more turn in, and then you can accelerate out a little bit quicker. So continue on now towards Mulsanne corner. Once again, this is going to be tricky, and generally your braking zone is where the curb is, so you just judge it by that curb on the right hand side, and you're going to run all the way to the left and to the left hand side to try and get a good turn in. Now I just run a little bit too quick into there, managed to catch it, but even so we carry on. So I've just gained a little bit, just under a tenth there on F-mate there. So that's how I'm judging my speed here, is on that gap, because he's right in front of me. So we continue on down towards Indianapolis now. You can see the sun lowering. The sun becomes quite interesting in the race. But even so, it is a full day-night cycle we're doing in the race, which is kind of nice. But we're only doing half an hour. Qualifying was 20 minutes, not 10, just because of invalidating the laps and stuff. But we'll get on to that in a second. It's coming into Indianapolis. I do this fairly well there. We exit very nicely as we head towards Arnage now. And you want to get really tight here. You jump to first gear even though you feel like you shouldn't, and then accelerate out really fast. So you can see there I gained another 10th on F-mate as now we head towards the Porsche curves. And we continue on. I say lots of straights on there. This is why we chose the SLS. It is the quickest of the GT3 cars on the stock setup. And as we break into the Porsche curves, drop down to 4th gear, get that turn in. You can then full throttle this all the way around the Porsche curves. It's absolutely fantastic. And through here we go. So you can see we're gaining all the time on F-mate. So he's really made a bit of a mess of the Porsche curves here. So we also know we're on a good lap as well. 143.9 is middle sector. Not too bad. You're looking at a 43.4 really for the ultimate pace. But as I say, we're going into night now, so temperatures are changing. So that means the car changes a little bit as well. It gets a bit more slidey as we head towards the final chicanes now. You want to use the pit lane a little bit here to the right. Try and get the best angle of attack. In we go, drop to 2nd gear, try and make sure it keeps turned. Make sure you don't cut, so I go a bit slower through here than normal. Nearly cut the right hand side of it. It's very close, but we continue on. We get a 351.1. So not too bad there. So jumping back towards the old penalties, you can see there's a lot of drivers who haven't got laps in. In fact, the Casters, G-Runner 19th, a Troll Vision 21st. Now there's a couple of people that will just jump in just in the nick of time, but even so, you know, there's problems there. People haven't got the laps, so the grid's all mixed up as we get ready for the race. And you can see here, just to give you a good idea of times, STL Storm taking that pole there, very close at the top. We've got DLXE as well, first time for TRL, so Magic Michael isn't here. We're not going to have traffic time either, so we won't see Magic Michael's flashing, his crazy flashing. But here we go, start the race. So as you see, I get an alright start. F-Mate gets a much better start than I do. As we head towards the first turn, it looks chaotic. Look at that, it looks amazing, really. So a good chaos sort of thing as we head towards the third chicane. I just get in front here as we come into this chicane. We're going to be careful of the LMP cars, and I get a good run out of here towards the right. There we go, but I see there's some action up ahead. Ralphie's just been tagged by Dynadas, and I'm there. I don't want to get in front of Ralphie, so I hold back a little bit. GT3 cars will also hold back behind me. There's a bit of a crash just further back as well as we come into this left-hander, but I've had a pretty successful start. I've not been in any incidents. I can now focus on the race. So my next problem, slipstream. But I nailed Tetra Rouge. I needed to nail it, and I do. Dynadas obviously gets a shortcut penalty here on the left. On the right side, I think Hades is that. It is indeed. Hades has also got a penalty as well. So I come through there, flashing my lights off because I don't want to get held up. So that's the good part of this. Now I can see behind me, I didn't notice at the time, but Flame Phoenix and F-Mate are both fighting for my slipstream. You can see in the chat there, Stephen's lost a tyre. I think that was due to lag that instant. As we go into the first chicane, these two are going to fight over this chicane, and F-Mate there gets the penalty, as does Flame Phoenix, so it gives me even more chance to break away. I'm over a second ahead now, I'm out that slipstream. All I have to do now is focus on the race. You can see Carl Ralphie up ahead. I'll stay with Carl Ralphie for a little while, but we jump further on towards Indianapolis, and you're going to see some of the LMP cars now starting to catch up again. So I've pulled a fairly decent gap to the other GT cars as well, which is really nice. It's really what I wanted, because no slipstream means they can't catch me through that method, and I was pretty quick here. I say pretty quick. You're about to see in a second that I wasn't super quick, and I'm not sure actually why. So Hades coming up behind me. I'm not going to let them by easy like I did last time. I learnt my lesson at Silverstone. I'm going to keep to my line. I am going to let off a little bit. Flash him over. Doesn't want to come over, but even so, I take my line. So next up is Flame Phoenix. Obviously, I'm a little bit worried compared from the last race, really, because of that. But even so, as you see here, I get loads and loads and loads and loads of understeer, and I don't know why I've got it. I've never had that before. Flame Phoenix around the outside, good job there, Flame Phoenix. And Sharf judges this amazingly well. Fair play to Sharf there, because he comes round, recognises that the GT car's going to understeer, straight round on the inside, so well played there. As I say, I was getting lots of understeer, not sure why. But at the end of the first lap, I'm still with the LMP cars, and I'm 3.5 seconds ahead of you, Had. I'm happy. And yeah, that's the first lap. So I'm going to show you a night lap of Le Mans now. You've seen a day one, here's night one, so enjoy this lap. So I hope you enjoyed that night lap. As you can see up ahead, I'm actually catching an LMP car, so this has me a little bit worried what's happened here. But you can see the sparks coming off, so I'm assuming he's lost a tyre or something. Gets well out the way there, does DLXE. Unfortunate for his first race. Apparently there was steam went to the windows from the game, so obviously he's just gone straight on. I think it was at Indianapolis and straight into the barrier. As you can see now, it's sunrise, and I thought I'd show you this because the track gets a little bit tricky at sunrise, I've got to say. Now, I've done a couple of race sims, of course, so I sort of know what's going to happen generally in the race and times of where I hit stuff. And I know this first sector gets very tricky on this lap. But it gets exceptionally tricky. Now, it's not as bad on the video, but I guess it's my TV settings. On the TV, it was so bright, I could hardly see a thing in a minute. But even so, we continue on. You saw in the night I did a 352, I just did a 353 there. I'm just calming down a little bit. You also saw I was nearly lost it at Indianapolis as well. That was really close. But as you can see there, the sunlight, look at that. It looks glorious. It looks awesome, really. Really does. Very well played to whoever designed that sunrise in Project Cars, because yeah, it's just awesome. Really, really separates this track and makes it quite special. But through we go, and you've saw that I just went a little bit wide just under the Dunlop Bridge, and here now I'm looking for my turning marker. I'm having to brake at Tetra Rouge, as I say, from that understeer, which I don't know why I've got. But we continue on nonetheless, and we make it through, so I'm happy now. I've done the tricky sector one that I knew was going to turn up, but it felt even more tricky. So we're getting towards the end of the race now, and there's another LMP car behind me. It's Dynadas. So you remember he got a shortcut penalty earlier on. Perhaps he had damage as well, so maybe he had to pit. But we're coming up to the Mulsanne corner. Again, I just hit a little bit too quickly, run a little bit too wide there. Cost me a little bit of time, but I'm not going to give Dynadas an easy run for it. I do keep checking behind me just to see what's happening and things like that, but there you go, you can see that there. But it's just to judge speed. Is he catching me, is he not? Now the SLS GT3 in a straight line is actually quicker than the LMP cars, so yeah, he isn't catching me here. Now I know he's going to catch me under braking because of course of downforce. But I'm not giving up my position here, so I just brake into there. Dynadas is very, very sensible there. And then coming through here, I just let off a little bit, just to let him go. I don't lose too much time, because obviously he's going to overtake me anyway, and we're not fighting for the same points at all. No, irrespective of where he finishes, I still come top of Challenger. So we'll continue on, and that's the end of the race pretty much. It's a pretty boring race, but we're going to have that victory. We finally got it in Challenger class. We had bad luck in the first two races, no bad luck here. Through the final chicane we go. I took this really casually and across the line with flashing lights, and we win round 3 of the SMS-R Championship here at Le Sarthe. My word, I was really happy with that, especially making sure I came across the line. You see there, Storm winning in Pro class as well. Now they're still going rounds because we're one of the first to finish. And I also get the fastest lap by 1 second. Even with that weird understeer, I still get it by a second. So really, really happy. And yes, a win. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. A bit different, not as much action, but you get a day lap and a night lap. But that's it for now. I will see you in the next race, which is a Go 4. But thanks very much for watching, as always, and I'll see you next time.